I believe that this is first and foremost about changes in the business logics in terms of strategic decision making about what to develop and where to develop. I would like to talk about the Russian specifics because, well, we're in Russia right now. Uh, to begin with, and there are certain geopolitical processes underway in Russia right now, and they impact significantly the competitiveness of the Russian industry as a whole. And we believe that it is robotics that might be a solution to improve or rather create competitiveness for the Russian economy. Speaking about the key trends, well, that's robotics, robotization, and something that's been there since 1970. And I believe that the most important process took place around the commoditization of technologies related to automation, and now this has come to a state where it all should be put on the same rails, something that we have at many plants, factories, and this is called a zoo, so to say, in brackets, in quotes, and they are poorly integrated among themselves, and it is important now to put them all on the same platform and based on certain key points such as the principles of sustainable development, reduced energy consumption, and improved automation, because there's this automation pool. This should all be brought together and translated into open languages. Now, a few words about the principles of improved manufacturing performance and the ways to improve performance. First, it's automation, then commoditization, availability of systems, because if you look at Russian operations, not many factories and plants are automated. The use of a unique platform, common systems, deep technological expertise. Why is this important? If you look at the labor productivity in Russia and other countries, if you look at the cost of labor and the related dynamics in Russia and other countries, you will see some concerning points of preoccupation, because the cost of labor doubled in Russia in the last decade, and which negatively impacts the competitiveness of the Russian industry, which was never good, and now it's even worse. Now, you should understand the situation in the various regions and various industrial sectors. And you can see that the labor situation in the regions in Russia varies significantly. Why am I talking about this at this session? This is an important factor. I mean, the introduction of robotics across the regions, and what makes sense in Moscow may not make sense in regions with cheap labor. Same is true to different industrial sectors. Mikhail, can I ask you to get back a little bit, because I didn't quite understand what you had on the previous chart. This diagram on top, red and white bars, what do they mean? The blue bars are salaries and wages, and the red is well, the cost of labor. Yeah, and I'm sorry for that. Now, again, that was a good question, because speaking about a comparison by countries, differences can be enormous. Speaking about competitiveness of Russian producers, manufacturers and what the pre prerequisites for robotics is poor productivity of labor, and in terms of improving the competitiveness, this is where flexible operating capabilities are necessary. An area where robotics may be very useful. Let me dwell a little bit on the life cycle. This is something new for the Russian economy, because 5 minutes prior to this session I spoke with Skolkovo about the need to introduce mechanisms for life cycle calculations, life cycle not only of products but technology projects, and this is closely related to automation, algorithms and principles for the evaluation of life cycles, because when new products are developed in Russia, they should be intended both for the Russian and international markets, and this is a must. There are packages for the calculation of life cycle and for life cycle management in particularly complicated processes. We believe there should be some commoditization, a downshifting for industrial use. Now, just a few words about the reasons for robotization and what the prerequisites are. This is about reducing operating costs, improving product quality, improving the flexibility of production. It should all be integrated both with power and other elements of the production process. You should not forget, well, robotics should not be separate from automation here, and as well as other elements here. And speaking about the geographical aspect, it's symptomatic here that the market number 2 for robotics in the world today is China. While China has the cheapest labor in all the BRIC countries, this is still in demand because they want to improve quality and they want to make their operation processes more flexible. Speaking about what you said, your Danish example, 6 people operating a plant, then it doesn't matter where they're located. We're talking about different principles for locating, for the location of manufacturing facilities. Closeness to the market, this requires a different model.
Of course, logistics is becoming a factor. If we, in principle, this is a new stage. From the very beginning, you asked what are the key business processes. We see the process, it's tight related to the location of the site. For sometimes it's raw materials and the market, and similar processes are taking place in energy sector. For if before generators were located without any connection with the resources, now the new generation of energy generation, it will have to be located closer to the energy resources. For the new types of networks, make it possible to supply power and electricity with minimum losses. This is a switch to a new stage for Russia is an exporter of energy resources, and we are going and getting ready for the export of energy. And if you analyze the sectors where we have robots And another factor is the creation of a large family of robots. Why do we need this diversity? From the viewpoint of energy saving and optimization of the industrial structure, it's very important to have a line of robots to optimize their use, so that from small-scale robots, which let's say are weighing several grams, they could manipulate with the parts weighing up to a ton, and sometimes microelectronics with a span of 3 meters. And next is a combination in micro blocks, units, and modules, and creation and this is the opportunity to reduce capex. So this is one of the typical modules when from certain units you assemble a tool to resolve certain issues, and we find robots in automobile industry. Machine building is the next. Machine building is a strategic industry, and food industry. A lot of investors are coming to food industry, and transport also. Electronics. 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks, there was a case when Russian spies were caught in the United States who smuggled electronic chips of dual purpose, and this is the driver to develop electronic chips here in Russia, and I'm sure that it will also broaden the scope of use of robots.